call to order the meeting of the Merrimack Town Center Committee on March 17th, 2023. The first order of business this evening is, first of all, a couple of announcements. I want to say that Michael Redding will not be with us today. He's got some other business problems caused by the snowstorm. That Karen Freed has resigned from the committee, and so she will be missed. I have reported this to the Board of Trustees. Our charter says that it should be a person from the Board of Trustees of the library is what was her official representation. And so, I've put the ball in their court to find a replacement for her. And for the Public Works Department, Dawn Twamala is rejoining the town, or I guess she's done indeed now. And here comes Finley Rothhouse. That's good. That'll give us a quorum. We had a quorum. But anyway, as I say, Dawn Twamala is joining us as Director of Public Works. Yeah. So she'll be back among us. She's not here today. Bruce is still sitting in for the town and still helping us out in that regard, but I think probably by next time we'll have a replacement for her, for Kyle. And Nicholas LaValle is otherwise occupied today, and Justin Slees is sitting in for him. Pardon? Slez. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so that takes care of the initial announcements. Karen Contos has agreed to take minutes for this meeting, which is very helpful, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Karen. The first order of business today is approval of minutes from the February 10th, 2023 meeting. These, I sent you a copy of these. They have a little blue thing on it, and if it's okay with the board, I'd accept a motion to approve them or any changes you wish to make on them. Anybody want to make a change? Anybody want to approve them?
I wasn't present for the meeting, but can I make a motion?
No, I'll make the motion.
Okay, Finley makes a motion.
You can vote on it.
Yeah.
I'll
And
second it.
and Karen seconds. Okay. All those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes as prepared?
Yes.
All in favor? Any opposed or abstaining?
Abstain.
Abstaining, Wilkes, okay. The next order of business on our agenda gets into old business first off. And I have revised the letter, a draft letter anyway, still, to the school board regarding the presentation that was made to us back in November by Steve Keach. And Matt had some things to say about it, and I think he wants to make some amendments to this draft.
Yeah, the one portion about the it's kind of I'll call it the pinch point where you have O'Gara abutting perpendicular to Babusick Lake Road. You know, there's one lane in and one lane out. It'd be nice if we had 2 lanes in and 2 lanes out, but that's not the way it is. It's an existing condition, and it's not really part of the plan, and I don't know how we could address it if we indeed had the money too, because of limitations where the ball fields are. We don't want to dig into that. Like I said, that'll get me run out of town real quick, so I'm not doing that. And then on the other side, there's not that much land to play with, you know. So if you want to say it would be nice if, or maybe extract that sentence from the letter, that would be fine, but it's not part of the plan to address that, nor do I think we can at this point in time address it. It's kind of a function of existing conditions that we just have to live with.
Yeah.
You know, at this point.
Kyle had a wild idea, if you remember that.
Making
And
it,
he didn't know whether it was possible, but it was a concept where you'd have it in only kind of coming off the bridge and behind.
Oh yeah, turn lane coming in, right?
Right.
2 lanes,
No, but it turned,
turn lane on Babusick Lake Road, so they could get off Babusick Lake Road and stop blocking traffic, right?
well, that was, you're talking the existing entrance, right?
Yes.
Well, that was one idea, but then the other idea, and he said, I don't know if it would work, would be before you get to the little house there,
Yes.
having a lane going in. Right only.
it just brings you in. It doesn't solve the problem.
It doesn't
going
solve
out.
you of exiting.
Yeah.
You're still
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
stuck. And so we'd have to build
Set
a,
up for the morning.
we'd have to build a road behind the house.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be the site where the new central office is gonna be. Whenever whenever we decide to do that in the next millennial or something like that,
Yeah.
that's gonna be the
Yeah.
chosen location, so I don't see that. It's creative, but I don't see that as.
I don't know if
feasible.
we want to put it on record or not.
I don't think I think we're getting out of our field, actually.
I just remember he mentioned that.
I do, we mentioned, I will make a suggestion to the board that I delete those sentences that have to do with that, beginning with one area of concern, and it's in 1, 2, third paragraph, the last 2 sentences, which say one area of concern is the 1-lane exit from O'Gara Drive onto Babusick Lake Road. This causes a congestion point because of the single traffic lane for both easterly and westerly traffic exiting the school property onto Babusick Lake Road.
Mhm.
That was what was discussed at this meeting
Correct.
then.
And I
that's-
think everybody agrees, but it's
Yeah.
not something that could be solved by the plan. And we've talked about having, during the morning, having both lanes being one way going in.
Yeah,
And then, but that messes up the drop off where the MES is, because the drop off is in the back. So now the parents would have to take a left and go around and go in front of the high school to get the heck out of there.
Hey.
It's tough.
But that's
you
what
know?
they desire right now, because I drop off grandchildren pretty regularly.
Yes,
And they want you,
they want you to do
when it
that.
backs up, they want you to be coming from the other direction.
Correct.
So people end up going down, turning into the parking area, looping around and coming back.
Right,
up.
yeah.
But it's something, I agree, it's not something,
it's getting out of,
that portion is
Yeah.
part that fits in.
If you had, and I half mean this seriously, if you cut a wider radius coming out of there where right field is,
right?
short,
Field?
where the ballpark is.
Oh,
where the
Yeah, softball field,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you had a little bit wider radius in there, you know, you wouldn't be, you know, a lot of ballparks have a short right field. You could, no, I'm half serious. Has
No,
anybody,
I know,
has anybody measured that out to see if you could cut a radius in there that would allow you to go right out of there?
I think they kind of restricted the study to what the property had already.
Yeah.
But I mean, in all seriousness, people only play ball there like 3 or 4 months out of the year that I ever see. And
Mhm.
you might be able to, I mean, might be worth looking at to see if you could just widen that radius.
All in all, there have to
It
be
would take-
fixes, I think, in that area in
Just
general.
like you have a decel lane
Yeah.
to get into a property. That's what's going through my mind is like, you know, a deceleration type of lane concept that allows you to take a right turn and still have something, you know, at the intersection trying to turn left.
'Cause I think the whole, it jams up down between, right over here between Town Hall and the
Oh,
church
absolutely.
also on the way in the mornings. And so it might be something that the planning and building committee with the school district look into,
Exactly,
because there's some things for better efficiencies, and I don't know what it would be, but.
yeah.
But because it is kind of outside of this, that's something that should happen probably.
I don't know how you want to phrase. I don't know how would you want to phrase it in order to keep it in there if you wanted to. I mean, it's the committee's letter. It's not my letter. It's the
I think
committee's
you
letter.
could just have a thing, would be possible to consider and review the engineering drawings to see if a radius could be widened
For a right turn,
for a right turn.
right turn.
out.
Right turn, yeah.
I wouldn't have an issue with that.
You wanna do that? You wanna do right?
It works, either way, it works for me.
Yeah, because it is an issue.
Yeah.
And plus you do have line of sight. So if you got a big bus on your left-hand side going left, and then you've got to eke out there to take a right, it needs an engineer to look at it.
You might not need.
I think there's an engineer somewhere in this.
You might not need that much, you might not need that much in actual footage. Everybody looks at the fence and they say, well, they can't move the fence. I mean, you gotta look through the forest to see the trees. You might be able to move that fence over 10 or in towards, the infield, if you wanna call it that, 10 feet and pick up enough so you could have a radius there.
We'd have to look at the field, do the measurements, and see if there's any NHIA rules about field. Probably not, seeing that the baseball field doesn't have a fence at all. So how do you know what a home run is? You jack one over the roof at J Muse? I mean, so, there's a lot of shortcomings we have that we haven't addressed. But yeah, I think that'd be a perfect thing to put in there for a right turn only lane. If you want to give it some specificity.
Ask them to look at a right
Yeah.
turn,
Yeah.
in the
Exiting.
future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the future. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
I don't wanna hold up the sidewalk on Gary.
I know
Drive.
you don't. I know you don't.
But you're gonna be doing a lot of work there, Nelson, so to do what we're potentially talking about could be easily incorporated.
Moving a fence and then, everything's flat anyway.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll give this letter another whack and let you all see it.
All right.
Perfect.
Is that all right? Okay. The next item under old business is the status of the Sahegan River Trail. And fortunately, we have Bruce with us to give us the latest.
Let me turn this on. Oh, there we go. Okay, we had two contractors that bid. One was disqualified, and as it turned out, it would have been the higher bid anyways. We're waiting right now for DOT to bless the increased funds. Anticipate that to happen within the next week to 10 days. And then we move forward with the project. So it is still very much happening.
How was the new pricing compared to the pricing that was undesirable?
New pricing is now about 1.65 million. And I went back looking at your history. It took a while to find some things. Apparently in 2014, it was estimated at $545,000. I see in 2016, that was estimated at $650,000. Then somewhere along the line, the costs continued to go up and the length of the walk actually decreased some. In 2022, it was projected at 1.46, and as I said, the successful bidder now is at 1.6. The engineer's estimate in 2022 was 1.1, so there was a little bit of a kind of a question and answering period between Department of Transportation, who is funding this, and the engineers themselves of how this happened, but that has primarily all been worked out. And it's moving forward. Hey, we expect to have a notice of award, be able to do that, notice to proceed, I should say, and award shortly.
Well, that's real good news to hear that it's moving ahead and that this hasn't stalled it. There's a bunch of things that happened in there that caused some of this cost increase. One of it was the repairs to the bridge
Right.
and the spalling of the concrete under the walkway. So that's one of the causes of this problem. And the general prices of things going up, plus the addition of it's now become originally it was a pathway, now it's a raised boardwalk.
Correct.
So those were factors that were put in by the state, out of our control, that added to the cost. So
And the Chamberlain Bridge, you'll hear sometime soon that that is now in the 10-year projected plan, near the end of the 10-year projected plan. One will not interfere with the other. There is some repairs to the bridge happening now that will allow that to go and for the 10 years or so. So
Yeah.
we had a meeting with NRPC and National Regional Planning Commission and made sure that one did not impact the other.
okay, that's was important to me when I discovered that this was happening. I've got it as an agenda item later, and I have a
Didn't mean to
report.
jump along.
Pardon?
I didn't mean to jump too far
No, that's
ahead.
okay. That's fine. It all ties together, and it's just a matter where we talk about it. But I do have a part of the report that was given at the March 6th. It was a presentation made by NHDOT where they talk about that the Chamberlain Bridge. They talk about two issues there. One of them is the possibility of redoing a bridge that bridge is an historic bridge, I should say. It's mostly faced anyway with granite blocks. It has a curve on one side of it and straight on the other side. And it was evolved over the years. It was the main road from Boston to anywhere north at one time, came right through that downtown. So that makes it eligible as an historic bridge. The New Hampshire DOT at this point, that's one cost. It could be refurbished and widened, because in order to make it today's standard, they need to widen it. The other the other possibility is to build a modern bridge, which would supposedly cost less. We don't know how much, or I don't know how much. And I don't know what the saving would be, and probably nobody does. But anyway, it would be, according to New Hampshire DOT, it would be more cost effective to build a new bridge there, get that one out of there and put an entirely new modern design bridge there. My concern when I heard that was, oh my gosh, what are they going to do to our trail passage that goes through the old sluice way? So I had drafted a letter, which we can talk about. Yeah, got it here. There's one for you and one for Bruce.
Thank you.
And one for me, and one for those. Well, let me just be sure that I'm not giving you the wrong things. There, I give you those. I got one more here if we need it. If you need it. Yeah. So, that's the presentation. The top page there is the presentation that was given to the town. And then my draft letter back to them, I had talked with NRPC about this. Should we just raise the concern? We're not gonna upset the apple cart here, but at least let them know that, make sure we still have a trail when they're done. So,
I'm just looking at the price differences between the NRPC estimate and the state estimate.
yeah,
The total project from 2.2 million, the state says it's 5.6.
yeah, that is a little difference there. And
Oh, no, wait, I may have misread that, Nelson.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's sharing, I don't know if that's project sharing, because it shows $8 million here, sorry about that.
Okay, $8 million increase.
No, the total project they're estimating at 8 million, I misread.
Okay,
So
all
I
right.
should have spoken, so.
No, that's okay. Let's get it on the table. Whatever it is, it's probably gonna change a bunch between now and
10 years.
2035.
Right.
And I don't expect to have to worry about it. But I don't want them to, I don't want them to block off the trail. I want them to be aware of it.
Absolutely.
So NRPC thought it was a good idea to send this. This is Matt Whitekins of NRPC. And I drafted that letter, and I'd like you to look at it and see if you're all in agreement with that, or if you'd like to make some changes to it.
I believe the NRPC estimated funds was to rehabilitate and not replace, and that has now changed since the presentation was made.
I'm sorry, the NRPC is recommending,
They were originally, the 2.2 was originally reflecting rehabilitating the bridge as opposed to replacing it.
yeah,
That's part of the explanation for the huge difference.
yeah. Well, as he says, it's $8 million difference, right? Yeah,
Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
Bruce, it shows in the third column, YOE. Do you know what that is?
I'm not sure what that is either.
Maybe it takes into account inflation year of execution. I don't know what it is. I'm just
Yeah,
guessing.
it might be, yeah,
But,
yeah.
YOE,
Yeah,
year of execution.
yeah, that's what, I don't know if that's what it is or not, but that's what.
That fits.
So does that mean they chose it to build a brand new one instead?
They're going to, the plan is to replace it in kind with a historic bridge. And part of, another piece of the discrepancy would be the fact that you're going to have a temporary bridge in place while the bridge is being replaced,
Yeah,
which I think goes back to the NRPC did not include costs of a temporary bridge.
yeah.
It's gonna be an interesting thing locating a temporary bridge in our
Yeah.
area.
I sure is.
It's,
Yeah,
I don't know how you do it.
yeah.
It's alternating lane. I don't know how you do it.
I don't,
I'm not an
it's
engineer
bad
myself.
enough to do the one
I mean,
on
they're
that
doing something on Peterborough, because I go there quite a bit, and it's an alternating lane thing. I mean, they stop you, traffic comes one way, they build half the bridge at a time, they
Right,
finish
but
it.
this is, what, 18, I can't remember, 18,000 cars a day or something? That would,
Is it at
That's
least
on
that?
101 in Peterborough. I don't know how many
It is
cars are
really.
out there, there's gonna be a
yeah,
lot
it's
of
gotta be a lot
cars.
of cars.
Yeah.
And actually, that's a good point because they did those in segments. They did the downtown bridge in Peterborough, which was replaced in kind historically. And they did that first. And when they originally looked into that, they were talking about a temporary downtown bridge, which when it all came to pass, they made sure that the 101 bridge and the in-town historic bridge were done one after the other
Mhm.
rather than at the same time. And the bridge on 101 actually has a Riverwalk underneath it as well. And what they did in that case was just close the Riverwalk for safety reasons during construction. And it will reopen once that's all squared away.
Good.
It might keep people more on the highway here when they do it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm sure it would, well, maybe, anyway. But,
And locals will have to, learn the back roads more.
yeah, this, we're a little short of back road. Yeah, you can go over Turkey Hill Road, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, any thoughts on that? Should we send the letter? Do you like the letter? Do you want to change the letter?
I think you should send it.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
yeah, yeah. NRPC thought it was a good idea, but,
I don't know.
yeah.
You might want to put in bold, that about the new bridge has to accommodate the trail. That would be my only comment.
Okay, let me make a note of that. Got it. Okay, thank you.
One change,
What? Sure.
one change.
Yeah.
Finlay doesn't have a D.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's
do
okay.
that a lot. I don't know why that keeps.
You got the two H's, so it's all good.
I got the two H's right, finally. And that wasn't easy. It took a couple of years to get that right.
I didn't even know that. I think it's a good thing to say now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that takes care of the Sauhegan River Trail and its future. The status of the TCC Facebook website. Justin, do you have anything that you can report to us, or?
I see Bill's on here as well, if you wanted to start first. You got anything, Bill?
Well, I mean, I don't have anything new, but we've been discussing, just so you know, with Nicholas about
Mhm.
having some more things to post on there,
Content, yeah.
content.
So-
And, I don't know. There was,
Yeah, we
there
did-
was a
so we did
piece that
speak
we were
about it.
working on,
Yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
you know, that was gonna incorporate kind of like different projects that are in the town center.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's moved forward at all, or.
Yeah, so we, you know, the Facebook page, you know, the likes and follows is, you know, slowly taking up. We'll get more as we post more things. There's not a lot of activity going on right now. We just finished our winter sports season, which was quite busy, and a lot of fun. But as far as winter video production, especially for town center stuff, it's obviously kind of difficult to do when the sidewalks are covered in snow or it's cold out and there's not a whole lot going on as far as construction goes. There's just not a lot to show video wise. Nick basically just wanted me to report that once the warmer weather comes about, we're going to be concentrating more on getting some video projects going specifically for Town Center Committee. Colin's been really great about collecting B-roll footage as he's doing these other video projects, the Merrimack Moment stuff. So we should have some B-roll footage to pull from as we're building these other video projects. I know we wanted to touch on the sidewalk on Woodbury Street and definitely the Sauhegan River Trail Walk, or whatever the name of that project is. Once that's underway, I mean, we'll want to be in touch with Dawn or whoever's going to have information on that, so we can get some footage of that. That's definitely going to be a big project that we want to highlight because it's
We
a
want to
big
highlight that, and I think
project.
we want to maybe have I don't know if you call it a groundbreaking or a ribbon cutting of some kind to kick the whole thing off.
Yeah.
That would make it get it publicized, Bruce. So we'd like to let Dawn know that when there's going to be a time, it'll probably be nicer weather than today, maybe toward the end of the month or even the beginning of, whenever the contract is awarded, at that time, I think would be the appropriate time to get some footage out there, maybe out on the site,
Yes,
show the
absolutely.
before the site, last views before we.
Yeah, the before and after kind of situation going
yeah,
on.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. As long as we're in touch with Dawn or anyone that's running with this project, we want to get as much footage of any step of the way. I like the idea of a ribbon cutting situation. I think we might be
Yeah.
able to pull some money out for the ribbon budget if we need a ribbon down there. So
Yeah.
and pull that out of the media budget.
okay.
And
Yeah.
of course, any other projects that we might want to highlight or any ideas, you can always bring them to myself or Nick. Just as far as what we might want to put on the page, it doesn't have to be big involved videos with all kinds of details. Just something quick is always good to grab people's attention and get more followers and stuff. But we're looking forward to the nicer weather because it is, like I said, it's a lot easier to get content when it's nicer outside. So
Do you think it's appropriate to highlight a project to get some public relations going as far as the repaving of O'Gara Drive and the sidewalk on O'Gara Drive? I don't know.
I
That's
think,
my first question.
I think you should do a before and after of that.
Because
Yeah.
in the springtime, with the potholes being at least 2 feet deep, you know, it would be appropriate at this point in time with everything all broken up and looking exceedingly nasty. It needs to get done sooner than later. And I know Steve brought a plan here, and I know we talked about moving everything back, getting rid of the guardrail, everything.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. I'd rather almost think, it's just me thinking out loud now, which is dangerous. But I'm almost thinking I'd rather to pave O'Gara, do a brand new sidewalk, make it look as good as we can, concentrate on burying the utilities, and you already know that we're gonna be demolishing Brentwood. We got a price that is exceedingly good. And I have to say, if we were in a position where we had a place to live, we could take down all 3 buildings at a cost less than I was authorized to spend by the school board. It's that good.
It's excellent. It's unusual this time, but.
It
where
is.
we,
Yeah.
We're meeting with them next week to make sure.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
read the
really
same
mean
page.
you're leaving, you're taking everything away and putting fill in? I know it says it in the contract documents, but do you really mean it? You know?
Yeah.
I want to look you in the eye and shake your hand and, you know,
That's excellent.
know where you live and what's your home phone number. So, yeah, I was just thinking that would be a nice little show, you know, it's part of the whole town center, you know, this is a need that needs to be funded.
right.
And I want to get that done sooner than later, because people are starting to, the buses are complaining, everybody's complaining, it looks like hell, it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And then we bury the utilities, then we start the rest of the plan.
Yeah.
You know, because the road is gonna stay where the road's gonna stay.
Yeah.
That's not getting moved over.
No. That's right.
Right.
In his plan, his new plan, the road's the same place.
Same
Yeah.
place, so why don't we just do the road and the sidewalk?
Yeah. I'm all for
I know
it.
you are, you know,
I'm all
because we've been
for it.
talking about this for a long time, when I had dark hair, you know?
But I had there.
When you had hair.
I'm still, just to throw it out one more time, I'm still concerned a little bit with Steve Keach's plan of opening up the parking lot and not having those barriers. Because I've seen it, I lived it when I was growing up, and it was like a drag strip. And-
Bill, I think we side to what you're thinking about. And it's something that some people feel that it should be taken out, and there's others that are very cautious about doing such. So, go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I don't care if you put speed bumps in there. They'll be seeing how high they can get in the air. You know, on the speed bumps. But with the barriers the way they are, I don't think they obviously are smart enough not to crash through the barriers.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They
Yeah.
are.
So I'm just throwing that one out one more time.
That's why I'm
in
saying
all
the
due-
road,
in all
road and
due-
the sidewalk is my priority.
In all due respect to Steve.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. We'd have to talk to planning and building, see how they feel about it. Check the pulse of the committee.
Yeah, I get your point, but, logistically speaking, it's a nightmare in the wintertime. I mean, it's gotta add something to that whole process, and, you know, and I don't know, they're trainable.
I don't think
They're
so.
like puppies, they're trainable.
I don't
Might
think
take a
so.
little bit.
We had a quarter-mile parking lot almost identical to that. And cars would line up side by side.
Well, that's
And
the
drag-
drag strip.
and
That's
drag
what the
race.
drag strip has always been used for. So,
So you have somebody in front with throwing like a rag down and then.
They probably did, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I just have concerns about that. And if somebody got hurt, no, that would not be pretty.
yeah, I'm not,
All these
An
little hot
administrator.
Subarus and Audis and,
Believe me, I hear them every afternoon at around 2:20, right near my office. I know the cars by the sound right now. High school kids, you should be proud to Put some mufflers on those things.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. Terrible.
Matt, what can this committee do to help your,
No, this is just a conversation.
goes there, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
We want to revisit Steve's plan a little bit with some modifications.
okay,
I want to make it easier to kind of implement,
yeah.
and, you know, if the.
Maybe you shorten the drag strip. Instead, I don't even know how many are out there. If there's 6 barriers out there now,
Yeah,
maybe you have 3. I don't know.
maybe, something to look
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and your committee are the building.
Planning and building committee, school district planning and building
You're
committee,
on that, aren't you?
and, yeah, Finley's on that.
I've been trying to get off for years now.
You're not gonna.
I joined it so I could say, no, we need a high school instead of a middle school. And the year I got elected to it, they built the middle school passed. So I'm going, I'm just going to deal with sidewalks now.
So before we move on from that, Matt, I think that's a great idea. I'm not sure if it would be, I'm sure there's a way to kind of, because it is, obviously it's part of the town center
Mhm.
area. I'm not sure if that's something that we would want to push on the town center committee page specifically, or just have it kind of, we could work separately from the town center.
Sure,
Maybe frame it that way for the video, but not necessarily push it as a town center specific video. I think that would probably be the best way to approach it.
Whatever your professional opinion is.
But I think if you want to reach back out to me or Nick about this, and
Yeah.
I'll just mention it to him. I think we should definitely, it sounds like we should get out there and get some of those good
B-roll
good
footage.
pothole
What is
footage. Yeah,
B-roll
yeah, yeah.
footage? I did want to ask that.
B-roll footage?
Yeah, B-roll is like kind of the extra footage you get. So if you get in like an interview with someone and they're talking about a specific thing, the B-roll would be
Stuff that-
a shot of that thing,
Okay.
or just things happening around wherever they happen to be that you can just kind of fill in over the interview.
Right.
It's just extra footage, basically.
got it.
Yeah.
How about complementary to the town center activities? Promoting it that way.
Compliment. I think I like that phrasing. I think that'd be good.
It's actually
that-
part of the master plan.
It is.
NRP, the ITRAC plan had that piece of sidewalk identified. It's identified on our map as
Right.
a need.
I think I'm just more thinking in terms of like distribution. Are we going to take this video that's kind of trying to drum up some support for the situation and kind of push it on the town center committee page, or kind of try and get a broader audience there as far as that
Right.
goes?
It's beyond just the sidewalk.
And I'm not, I'm more talking about the distribution of the video itself, like how we frame that, not necessarily, the focus of the video. Not like, hey, here's the town center, now we're looking at this today. It'll be, something a little more broad, you know what I mean? But I think we should definitely have town center in there, because it is, you know, like I said, it's in the town center there, so.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? Yeah?
Just a little, you know, piece to kind of highlight. Yeah.
Yeah.
B-roll.
B-roll.
B-roll
Then maybe we could buy Kesslingers and turn it into central office. You know, selling mattresses.
There's a pedal bike
Okay.
right there.
Okay, the next on the agenda to talk about old business is to do with the status of the Route 3 Wire Road and Babusick Brook Bridge
Well,
project.
the two are combined as one now,
Yes.
and have
Yeah,
been for a
next
little
time I
while.
will show, I got your message, Karen, but I didn't want, I had this all over the place already. But we can discuss them together.
And first, I guess I want to correct what I said at the last meeting of, I think we'll have plans by summer. It's a good year out, and it's in the early stages of the planning together. So I was maybe a little too optimistic.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
Well, we've learned.
So it's currently going under engineering review with DOT right now, and in fact, we have a meeting scheduled on Monday with the engineers, and then an on-site meeting at DOT on Tuesday for this project. And that's I mean, it's moving slowly, but it's moving along, and that's pretty much what I have for right now.
Tell me what you meant by Tuesday and review.
Sure.
Yeah,
So the engineers put together their preliminary review and submitted it to DOT.
this is
and-
like a concept drawings, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
And actually
okay,
looking at the supporting documentation moving forward of the overall plan. From that, DOT has responded with their comments to the engineering plan. And Monday, we will be reviewing that with the engineers, and then Tuesday, we will be in I say we, I'm going along if I'm invited, but it's primarily will be Dawn. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be the both of us, but it will
Yeah.
be with the director to go over the conceptual plan as far as they've gotten along so far.
is this something that'll be like a public hearing or a public inputs, or this is
It-
just internal?
I think it's just internal, because that meeting is going to be up at, in Concord at DOT.
Yeah, okay,
It is, we're really in the early stages at this point. It's still going to take a while.
yeah. Okay, that's this coming Tuesday, but that's not very far away, and that it's not something we can really get involved in. Yeah,
Not at this point.
yeah. Yeah.
So if I could ask, so the traffic calming device, as we affectionately call a roundabout, right? Is that what we're talking about,
Yeah.
where Y Road is?
It's not gonna be a roundabout.
Not gonna be a roundabout.
That
It's gonna be an
got,
intersection.
that
It's
got
gonna be an
squashed.
That got
Yeah.
squashed,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So I'm a little bit behind, so
yeah, because you missed a meeting.
I
One
did.
meeting. One meeting and it's over.
It's over.
A roundabout would require taking land
That's what I was
as a-
thinking. Yeah.
as opposed to either signalization or signage would be within the current footprint, within the right-of-way, with perhaps some overspill onto the side just for cleanup and, I don't want to say
Sloping.
grass and
Easements.
sloping and so forth
Yeah.
and so on. So,
Yeah.
no, the roundabout is not under consideration.
Consideration. Because it seems like whenever those are built, they're built a little bit on the tight side. I know everybody, all the engineers run auto turn through those things, and
Yeah.
of course the school bus is going to fit, but in reality, sometimes it doesn't really fit going around there. So it would be more of a conventional type. Is it like more like a T? I hate to ask these questions.
I think it's gonna be
I should
four,
just-
isn't it gonna be
Go
aligned
ahead.
with
It-
the MYA?
Yeah,
It's
and
closer to a T, and the plan is to incorporate the,
MYA.
yep,
Yeah.
into that and bring the wire road more into a, as close to a T as
You can
possible.
Get it, yeah. Okay. Sure, you guys do a tremendous job. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
And to incorporate it in with the bridge project, it just
yeah, it's
makes-
gonna be
Oh,
one
yeah.
project.
it makes sense.
Yeah, they're tied together, and that's,
That makes great sense.
Once
Yeah.
you got the big toys out there, just do it all.
once,
Yeah.
once it starts, it will come together, but because they took two projects and made it one project, there's a little bit of a step back to combine the two, and,
It is.
that's where the engineering review of combining everything is, that's why it's gonna take a while.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay, good. Anything else on that? We can move on to new business. I talked with Mike. Mike Redding was going to bring us some information, who's been trying to contact the NHDOT regarding the F.E. Everett Turnpike widening project, and to see if they've considered some of the things that we've got going on, like this project. And at the same time, we're trying to do some bridge. We need to, I think the next thing that affects our downtown directly is the bridges. Right now, they're widening the other lane of New Hampshire, Everett Turnpike. As you may know, if you ever come from Manchester to Merrimack on the wrong time, you can get behind a very long delay of very slow moving traffic as it tries to accommodate the blasting and removal of debris from blasting afterwards. I guess they just go ahead and blast all over the road and then pick it up.
Push it off, yeah.
So it's And if you, I made the mistake of getting on in Manchester to come south, and
I got stuck.
it got stuck. Yeah, it took about a half hour to get through that one. Little,
In London area, I was stuck on 93 with blasting heading southbound.
yeah,
And a month or two later, I see these two cruisers coming getting on
Yep,
the ramp,
yeah.
and I'm already doing like 70 miles an hour. And I'm going, if I'm behind these guys, I think they're ready to do a rolling roadblock. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what they did, but I
That's-
sped. I mean, I picked up speed to get by them again. But please don't stop me. And they didn't. They were blocking traffic. So I dodged a bullet because I sat there for probably 25 minutes because they have to go through the process of letting people
This
know.
time you said you just.
I don't want to wait. I just got it. I did.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
I'm looking for the coin to flip. Should I or should I not?
Should I or should I not?
So anyway, to date, Mike has been unsuccessful in getting them to come down and listen to us and learn our story, and probably they don't need to, but at any rate, that's in process and not moving very rapidly. We talked in the past here about finding new ways to fund some of our projects, some of the pieces of our town center master plan, the ITRAC, and one of the things that came to mind was working through the NRPC, and we did get some information from them, and I've been back to NRPC since. But you may recall this document, which was a whole list of possible sources of funding for sidewalks and that sort of thing. And we, the last time we discussed this, we agreed that I would go back to NRPC and see if we can get someone from their organization who might sit with us and help us wade through these possibilities, which ones have some possible outlets that we might tap into for funding. And that is in process. I've talked with Matt Watkins at NRPC. He's our contact on sidewalks and that sort of thing. And he was going to look into this for me, but he did not get back. This week has been kind of messed up with the snowstorms and everything. He didn't get to work a couple of days. And so it's ongoing is what I'll report to you right now. We don't have anything immediate that I can tell you about, but I would hope by next time we meet, we'll have some feedback from NRPC as to who would be the contact person at NRPC, and see if we can get some help from NRPC to go forward with some funding projects that would be part of our ITRAC results. So that's kind of where it is. Any questions or comments on that? I know you're anxious.
If you look at it under sidewalks here, there's like 20 different sources
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
So,
And that's why we needed their help.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is promising, I guess. Just a lot to wade through.
Yes, right. Any questions or comments or further? No. I'll open for public comments if there are any, and the public must be snowbound. A date for our next meeting, we need to decide when we want to meet again. It would sure be nice to have it after or around the time of the groundbreaking ribbon cutting. But do you want to meet in a month? Or I would say no sooner than a month. We should meet. Yeah. 17th of April. Look at April. April 11th is the town meeting. Any thoughts from the committee? What would a convenient time?
How about April 28th?
That works for me.
I was thinking that.
That works for me.
Okay. Okay, unless something comes up, we'll make it April 28th. By that time, we'd ought to, hopefully, we'll be able to talk about a ribbon cutting. That would be nice. Bruce, you can really point to a big accomplishment in your short stay here. You made this happen.
Just happy to keep the boat floating.
Okay, well,
Appreciate it.
you did it. We appreciate it. Appreciate the help you've given us in your short stay. Been an active time for us. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, Bill Wilkes makes a motion to adjourn. Anybody want to
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay,
Aye.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What do you got there?
Just when this is over.
Oh,
Did you mean Matt Disperson and Nick Shep, LaValley?